y'all, it's Ashley at Bookishroom, and I am back with another video. As you can see from the title, this is What Do You Know About the Black Experience, a nonfiction book review. So there are 3 books that I read recently that are all nonfiction that deal heavily with the Black experience. So I thought that I would take the opportunity to kind of talk about these books in a non-spoiler way, that maybe if you're interested in learning more about the Black experience, you can check out these 3 titles. So the first book that I would like to talk about is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. This is a phenomenal book. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it because the movie was just recently released, but it was based off of this nonfiction book that was written, I believe, in 2014. So Just Mercy is an exploration of the Black experience in America as it pertains to the judicial system. It explores mainly one significant story about a man named Walter who is convicted and put on death row for a crime that he didn't commit at all. And what Bryan Stevenson does is he walks us through the different processes that happen once he gets the case. He also speaks about his journey in becoming an advocate for those who have been wrongly put on death row, and especially his experience after graduating from law school and working in the judicial system, especially in deep southern states like Alabama. Outside of Walter's case, in which we learn how the judicial system clearly handled information completely wrong, Stevenson does spend some time exploring and discussing other individuals that are affected by the inadequacies of our judicial system. Now, outside of Walter's case, Bryan Stevenson does spend a great deal of time exploring how the judicial system has been unfair to other people of color, women, and minors, as well as those who are considered to be low income. What I find most intriguing about this is that it shows how those in power can abuse their power based on their own prejudices or biases. It was very difficult to read how judges, lawyers, and juries were able to wrongly convict and disproportionately convict those of different races and different socioeconomic statuses based off of their own prejudiced perspectives. Just Mercy is not an easy book to read. The topics that are covered are definitely hard-hitting and very difficult to acknowledge, even though this is something that continues on today. I will say that it does have a good ending in which you find how Bryan Stevenson is still using his political power in the judicial system to help those who've been wrongly convicted of crimes that they didn't commit. Even as a Black woman, I've heard a great deal about how the judicial system does not necessarily work in our favor, but this was even an eye-opener for me to learn more about those individuals that have gone through the processes of the judicial system and have been wrongly convicted of crimes that they did not commit. The next book that I have on this list is How Not to Get Shot and Other Advice from White People from D.L. Hughley. I will preface this by saying that this book is crude. D.L. Hughley is a stand-up comedian and he does not shy away from very explicit language. Now, this book is supposed to be written as a satire, so D.L. Hughley goes through different pieces of advice that some white people have given to Black people about how to become better functioning citizens of America. Some of this advice includes dressing differently, following the law, not becoming single parents, and getting an education. Now, while those are just a few of the topics that D.L. Hughley does explore in this book, he does so in such a humorous and fun way. I've seen this book get a lot of criticism because people say this is nothing to laugh about. But you have to understand that from the perspective of Black individuals, sometimes the best thing that we can do is to laugh to keep from crying. This book is not a way to sow prejudice against white people. It is a way for individuals to better understand that sometimes the advice that's solicited to Black people is unwarranted and usually can't be followed. For example, telling people all you have to do is listen to the police and follow the directions doesn't work in every situation. There have been countless of situations where people have followed the directions of the police to their best ability, and the situation still has not turned out good. What D.L. Hughley attempts to do with this book, regardless of your racial or ethnic background, is to explain what it's like to be Black in America, and that sometimes things that seem simplistic and very, very easy for Black people to do to change things are not as easy as they appear to be. I found this book to be extremely enlightening and extremely funny, considering that there were a lot of things that he talked about in this book that I had experienced myself including telling me that I was a smart one, that I was well-spoken, asking if they could touch my hair, just things that people don't really think about when they are interacting with Black people. And D.L. Hughley does this in a way that makes everyone laugh, but also informs people at the same time. If you're looking for a humorous side to the Black experience in America, I would highly recommend checking out this book, but like I said, be mindful. This book does contain a bit of hard language, and if you're not used to it, it could be quite jarring. I would recommend listening to this one on audio as well as Just Mercy on audio, because they're both read by the authors and it gives you a different experience. The last book that I have here is Conversations in Black on Power, Politics, and Leadership, and this was written by Eddie Gordon, but he has a host of individuals that speak on different topics in this book, and this includes Charlamagne Tha God, D.L. Hughley, Al Sharpton, T.I., Maxine Waters, Stacey Abrams, the list goes on and on. I think there's probably close to 30 or 40 people who partake in this book. This book definitely explores the Black experience in America, but from the perspective of other Black individuals who debate and confront issues that Black people usually face on a day-to-day basis. The topics that they discuss include education, the experience of Black men, the experience of Black women, the economic power of Black people, educational power of Black people, and also our power in politics. What I loved about this book is that everybody doesn't agree. And sometimes I think that when people see Black people, they think that it's a one-size-fits-all type of situation where we agree on everything, and that's not true. They discuss all of these topics in detail and find ways to constructively criticize each other and come to a consensus, basically, that Black people as a whole need to figure out a new plan in moving forward in this new administration. And when I say this new administration, I mean that they discuss how the socioeconomic, the political, the educational values of Black people have changed from the Obama administration to the Trump administration. All of this is wrapped up into figuring out how Black people can take what we've learned from great movements such as the Civil Rights Movement to now in the future when things have greatly changed. I think one of my favorite parts of this book was that it created a way for individuals who read this book to have conversation, friends and family members of their own. Looking for a way to start a conversation at your own table, I definitely would recommend picking up this book. Alright y'all, so as you can tell, those are 3 books that discuss the Black experience here in America. I did end up giving the D.L. Hughley book 4 stars, but I gave 5 stars to Conversations in Black and Just Mercy. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more content from me, click the subscribe button. I'm sure you guys can hear the rain now. It's starting to rain. So crazy. Remember, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and all of my social media links will be down in the description box. If you are interested in discussing these books more, let me know in the comment box below. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know in the comment box below, and I'll be back with another video soon. Bye.